Welcome back to The Grind. In this video, we're going to talk about how to beat the Abomination boss of this new event quest. First, basically all his abilities really is just that he applies a ton of poison, and you really want to have a poison immune champion, or a champion that can shrug off debuffs or avoid taking debuffs. The main thing to point out is the special attack 1 does apply a petrify on activation. It does not have to actually hit you. As far as nodes or buffs, there's nothing too complicated except for robots. Instead of taking a poison, they will take shock damage, which adds up significantly. Anytime you as an attacker purifies a debuff, you will get increased damage to your damage over time debuffs. And then finally, each time an attacking Hulk, She-Hulk, Hulk Ragnarok, or Immortal Hulk is immune to a poison, the defender gains 10% fury up to 10. Once you hit 10, they're removed, and the attacker gains a 65% fury buff and unblockable for 8 seconds. So I went in with Warlock. You can see I would have taken a poison, which I'm immune to, so then I take the shock debuff, and look how much damage it does. Over 50% of my health just from that one shock debuff. Now after it expires, I get that debuff enhancement, so you can see the bleed that is on there initially is doing about 272. The next one is dealing 326. So it's great if you have a champion who shrugs off debuffs, but probably not ideal to do with a robot. So now let's take a look at the special attacks and how to avoid them. I highly recommend baiting out the first special attack. It is so much easier to evade completely, and if you do take some blocked hits, they do not deal as much damage. All you really have to do is create a bunch of distance so that you do not get hit, and make sure you avoid that final slam dunk of an attack. What you can do if you don't want to give up so much space is block the rolling attacks because they do not deal very much damage. If you do get backed into a wall, you can dodge the first part, block the middle part, and then dodge the final part of the attack. You do want to be careful not to mistime the final part of the attack because it does delay a little bit and you can get slammed. The second special attack starts with a short range attack and then 3 long range, high damage, rapid sequence shots, and they deal a lot of damage. I didn't even bother trying to evade it. It does seem possible, but again, it deals so much damage, the risk is much greater than the benefit would be. So what champions should you take? Well, any poison immune champion or champion that shrugs off poison debuffs will do a great job against Abomination. Hyperion is a great choice because of the full immunity to a poison debuffs, as well as the high damage output that Hyperion brings to the matchup. She-Hulk is another great option, which I've enjoyed using against Immortal Abomination, partly because of the 100% immunity to poison, but also just her natural style allows her to get lots of damage as well. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is each time you are immune to one of the poison debuffs, Immortal Abomination does get one of those Fury stacks. Once you do get to 10 though, you can unlock the Fury bonus for yourself, as well as the unblockable buff, which you can see here. As soon as we get the 10th immunity to poison, we get that unblockable buff, Abomination loses the Fury, and we get that additional Fury stack as well to deal some extra damage, and we can go and break the block whenever we have the opportunity, but it is very short, it's only 8 seconds. Red Hulk is another good option. Unfortunately, he's not immune to poison, but he purifies the poisons. So instead of building up those Furies for that unblockable and Fury buff, eventually after 10 stacks, you get this debuff enhancement instead, which Red Hulk doesn't really rely on debuffs, so it doesn't really make a big difference for him. And then keep in mind the special one does put on that Petrify debuff, so if you do use the special 2 to get some healing, it will be decreased by that. Now this is a rank 3 Red Hulk, so this was a very long fight. And then of course, if you are a very good Quake player, you can Quake down Immortal Abomination because you will not be making contact to get those poison debuffs on you. However, when you take a blocked hit, you do have a chance at getting poisoned, so you will not really want to do the Quake and Bake. You kind of will want to do the strategy where you evade or where you dex or just continue to use the heavy attack to evade multiple times. I did do the parry method on some of them, and I didn't manage to actually get any stacks, which was good, but that does increase the risk. Blade is another great option because Immortal Abomination is a villain. If you bring Ghost Rider as well, you can get that danger sense, so you will reduce the ability accuracy of the poison and take less of them. Now with the Cavalier difficulty, one poison does a lot of damage. So ideally what you would do is, like I'm showing in this uncollected difficulty, do most of your attacks while Abomination is parried, because if you have the mastery to decrease ability accuracy during the parry, it does help a lot more. So in this uncollected fight, I was able to get the solo without taking any poison from Abomination. So I do hope this video is helpful. In the comments, let me know what you used to take down Immortal Abomination, or if you had any other tips to share for those who are trying to take down Abomination once or multiple times. And I'll see you in the next video.